Hi, my name is Jacob Graham, or Unix Soldier on YouTube. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about a really cool Linux distribution that I'm just dying to tell you about. It's called Linux Royal. Linux Royal is Ubuntu based, so it's Debian at the heart, which is known for reliability and being very stable. Debian is the #1 distro used in web servers across the world, and that is basically at the heart of what our distribution is about. But with Ubuntu, that brings in all the current common things. With having Ubuntu at the base, we get all the cool stuff that's not available to all the other distros like Arch or Gentoo and different stuff like that. So, to first explain what Linux Royal is, I have to first explain to you, if you don't know, what Linux is. Linux is an operating system kernel. So it's not actually an operating system like Unix is. Basically, the kernel is the thing that handles all the other different applications within the technology stack known as Linux GNU. So what's a technology stack? For instance, LAMP, Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP, or Python, or whatever you want to use. That's a technology stack. Any kind of common goal that you're going for with technology that involves many different types of technology or protocols or different suites of different things is called a technology stack. And basically, that's what Linux is. So part of that stack is the kernel, and the kernel handles all the different stuff, the commands from the shell up to the different things within the file system, like the text editor or maybe your browser or whatever you're doing. So the kernel is very important, but that's not what Linux is. Linux is a bunch of other packages and repositories that are more GNU. GNU is a recursive acronym for GNU is not Unix. So basically, Linux Royal, at its heart, is a great distribution for everybody. It's one of the, in my opinions, the best distribution for people who are totally transferring from Windows, because it's got all installed, pre-installed. It's got Netflix, so you don't have to worry about Netflix not working on your Linux system. It's pre-installed as a desktop app. And it does use some emulation with Firefox and different things. And it also has Steam bundled into there as well. So you really get the full features of using a computer when you use Linux Royal. So, as I said, Linux Royal is Ubuntu based. It's got a great community. The best way to usually get a hold of us is on the Facebook group, and another good way is just to send us a message. You know, if you can't get an answer right away, you can look for some of the more senior people on the page. We can look up our page here. So yeah, if you go to Facebook/groups/Linux Royal, you will find it. This is our Facebook group here. I don't know if you can see it, but basically, we try to aim for a distribution that replaces Windows and at the same time isn't Windows. Does that make sense? So a big part of Linux Royal is we take out Unity. We're a big fan of not liking Unity. Unity is very sluggish and slow on a Linux system, and Linux is known for speed, so to us that kind of doesn't make sense. So we've completely removed, or in Linux lingo, we've purged Unity desktop environment, and in its place we've put GNOME Shell and Cinnamon. Cinnamon is a great desktop environment that comes from Mint and Linux Mint. And it's one of the greater things that's come actually from the Linux Mint community has to be Cinnamon. And then there's GNOME Shell. GNOME Shell is a great alternative to Unity, and we find that this mix makes a really good solid distro. So we'd like you to check out Linux Royal. You can find us on the SourceForge. I can give you the link to that. So we've got this nice webpage here too. If you go to linux-royal.com, that's our webpage. And if you go to the download link, you can see that we have LTS, which is long-term standard, I believe, or something like that. Basically, it's the more supported version in 64-bit and 32. And then we also have a light version in 64-bit and 32. And the light version's been stripped of a lot of unnecessary things and it's been really slimmed down. Another cool thing about Linux Royal is it comes pre-installed with a really nice bare-looking conky. And if you don't know what conky is, it's basically kind of like the gadgets that you guys use on your Windows or screenlets. Lots of different distros have different names for them, and different operating systems have different names for them. But basically, Linux Royal comes with its own CPU counter, network monitor, all that kind of stuff on your screen, and it's really small. using Conky. It doesn't take up a lot of resources. It's great. So that comes pre-installed, and you don't have to configure any of that. They've done tons of work on different documentation on how they do their themes. Kyle Adams, the guy who started Linux Royal, does some of the greatest themes I've ever seen. And you know, we just like getting together and talking about Linux and sharing. We'd really like to see you guys come down to our forum. So if you guys can meet us on the Linux Royal chat, we also have a Linux Royal chat put up by UKX host, pardon me. Anyway, I digress. The other thing I was going to show you was our links on SourceForge. So if you search for us, Linux Royal downloads, you'll probably find the SourceForge links. Or as I said, you can go to our website, linux-royal.com, and you can get it from there. So as you can see, this is the SourceForge page. I don't know how much you can see. Yeah, and you can download it there. I can give you the URL. It's sourceforge.net/project/real Linux Royal /files /royal %20 LTS %20 full %20 64-bit. Doubt you're going to go for that, but there you have it. If you have any questions about us, as I said, hit us up on the Linux forum on Facebook, or hit us up on our chat system that is set up by UKX host, pardon me. So if you wanted to check out our chat system, you can go to ukxhost.co.uk/royal.html. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks, and have a good one.